you have to think about what you're saying. That's right. And the more I tell myself you don't have to, the more I'm like, oh, yes, I do.
Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. Would you please rise for an invocation to be offered by Ethan McClarity of the Evangelical Free Church in Canyon City, and remain standing for the pledge.
Father, we celebrate this morning and we celebrate the task before us, and we do so with a call to seek justice, to show respect, and to walk humbly with you, our Father. Amen.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ethan. Roll call.
Commissioner Norden?
Present.
Commissioner Payne?
Present.
Commissioner Bell?
Present.
County Clerk Barr? Present. County Attorney Jackson?
Present.
County Manager Bryant?
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Koch?
Present. Any changes to today's agenda that's before you?
Mr. Chair, we do have a rather lengthy agenda today, but I think it's going to be a pretty quick one. I am not aware of any changes we need to make, so I move for approval of today's agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve today's agenda as presented. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norden?
Aye.
Motion carries.
You have the consent agenda, noting a couple of items that we will be scheduling two special meetings. One will be the special meeting on Tuesday, December 20th at 9:30. Purpose to certify the mill levy and adoption or consideration to adopt the 2017 budget, and certification of mill levy will be certification of the entire list of mill levies for county for units of government in the county that rely on property taxes. And the other special meeting Monday, January 16th, for the new Board of Commissioners to consider marijuana license renewals and modifications.
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I will second with the notation, Mr. Chair, that I did hear the laughter in your voice when you said the new board.
The new board. Yes. Yes, indeed. It will be the new board. Okay. Motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norden?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Staff and elected officials reports. We have a monthly report from our county clerk and recorder, Katie Barr.
Good morning. This report is for the month of November. The total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for November was $973,627.03. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $539,297.07. That is 55% of the total fees and is $31,842.38 more than November of 2015. Year to date, our office is up $279,956.07 from last year.
That is awesome news.
Looks good.
Okay. Any
Mr.
questions?
Chair, I move to accept the county clerk's monthly report.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to accept the county clerk's report. Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norden?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I have a monthly, not a monthly, but a county manager's report from Sonny Bryant.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So just a few items that I wanted to note today. So during the week of November 28th, the Commissioner-elect and I attended the CCI conference, and there's actually a couple people from Road and Bridge Department there as well. It's a great way to network with other county managers, county commissioners, and people throughout the state. We had some really good presentations, and I've learned quite a bit, so I'm excited over the next year to incorporate some of that in our daily things that I do in my office. On Thursday, December 8th, the commissioners and I attended the mid-month meeting with the Department of Human Services, and we, amongst various other topics, discussed their transition plan. So both Steve Clifton and Linda Smith are going to be retiring at the end of 2017. So they're working on transitioning their positions into 2 new people that are going to be taking over once they retire. On Friday, December 9th, Commissioner Norton and I attended the annual DOT Christmas dinner, and it was very well attended by the department, and we had a great time. And then last night, the commissioners and I attended the Fremont County Sheriff's Christmas celebration and awards ceremony. And, you know, we have a lot of good employees, so it's always nice to have these holiday dinners and holiday celebrations that we can celebrate our staff, celebrate people that work really hard for the county, and it makes us very aware of how many people that we have working here that do a really good job. So I was very glad to be a part of those, and we have a DHS one this Wednesday and then the administration one on Thursday. So looking forward to those.
And just a note on that, Sonny will be closing the administration building early for Thursday.
That's on the agenda for today to approve that.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for Sonny?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, thank you. Other staff reports. Commissioners?
Nothing from me today,
I would...
because I know you have that list in front of you.
Well, I just wanted to tag on to the mention that Sonny brought up about the Sheriff's Department awards ceremony last night, and they had a long list of awards that were presented, but notable Medal of Valor recipients for service above and beyond: Deputy Jeremy Amendola, Deputy Brody Cook, Deputy Alejandro Jimenez, and Sergeant Felix Montoya received Medal of Valor. And then peer awards voted on by their fellow officers in the Fremont County Sheriff's Department. Congratulations to Detention Officer Charlene Combs and Patrol Officer Tony Morello for being selected as Deputies of the Year.
I would, if I could just add to that, Mr. Chair, the Medal of Valor, the sheriff explained last night, is the highest honor that an officer can receive while he is still alive. So the only higher of an honor that an officer can receive is if he would have died in the duty as he performed his office. So I thought that was very impressive that we had 4 of those last night to give congratulations to all.
Indeed. And as and maybe echoing some of the comments that Sheriff Biker said last night, as well as mentioned on the radio this morning, the fact that too many times in the past year, and even in the last 24 hours, we hear of officers who have given up their lives in the line of duty the last 24 hours again in the state of Georgia. So I think that's indeed a reminder of the service that our deputies and all police officers across our entire community and county perform when they put on the badge and go to work every day. So we commend them by this commendations from this board, as well as the citizens of Fremont County for the work that they do. Any other staff reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to opportunity for citizens to address the board on items that are not on today's agenda. Does anyone wish to address the board at this time? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to recognition of the Fremont County Employee of the Year and the nominees. Okay, thank you. She knew I couldn't handle this without her providing backup. All right, these names I'm going to announce are people who have been nominated for the Employee of the Year. And I think it's always worthy to take note of everyone who is nominated because, again, this is a peer award where your fellow employees have taken note of the work that you do, and even though you may not be the recipient of the Employee of the Year, it's still an honor to be nominated because the people that work for you recognize that you're performing an exceptional service on behalf of Fremont County. So we will announce these and then ask these nominees to join us up front. Brandy Wilcox, Account Clerk at the Department of Human Services. Annette Ortega, Office Manager at the Fremont County Department of Transportation. Karen Prentice, Executive Assistant at the Fremont County Clerk and Recorder's Office. Bobby Miller, our Supervisory Custodian here for Fremont County Buildings. Charlene Halstead, Accountant in the Fremont County Administration Department. And Danielle Adamic, Permit Technician in the Fremont County Building Department. So if you would join us up front.
And while that's happening, I just would like to mention that many of these people were nominated multiple times by their coworkers. So even being nominated once, I think, is an honor, but to have multiple nominations under your belt also is pretty incredible. So congratulations to you all.
Now, from these 6, we are pleased to announce our Employee of the Year. And the Employee of the Year, besides the recognition, gets the $300 check that is awarded
So Merry Christmas.
as part of the honor. The Employee of the Year, I think, is well deserving and has been, I believe, has been nominated before, if I recollect. There it is.
You're really keeping track of us today.
And in particular, this Board of County Commissioners, her efforts this past year have come to the attention to this board. But first of all, let me read the letter of nomination, or our letter of congratulations. You've been selected as the Employee of the Year to Annette Ortega. Your dedication and hard work has not gone unnoticed by your co-workers. Your contributions to the county are appreciated. As stated in your nomination, your dedication and hard work to obtain a large reimbursement for the county resulting in recent flood damage dating back to the 2015 flooding in Phantom Canyon, $205,000. Your patient, helpful, and understanding attitude, maintaining employee records and providing reminders on requirements, your commitment and persistence in accomplishing goals. You reflect pride in Fremont County, and your years of loyal service are commendable. The county is a better place with you as a part of it. And of course, Annette's picture will be posted in the Commons area of the County Administration Building for the coming year. A couple of notations. We were running out of space to add names to our Employee of the Year board, so Aaron Broadus of our Facilities Maintenance Department did a super job of putting a new honoree board together so that we have a separate place for the picture of the Employee of the Year and plenty of space for future Employees of the Year. And I want to add a personal note that I think as with a number of our county employees, Annette is on the front line answering calls from citizens, and sometimes it's not the most pleasant of tasks because it's not often that citizens go out of their way to call up and say, hey, you guys are doing a great job, and just want to pass along compliments. Sometimes it's just the opposite. You get the 5% of the calls from people in the county who are unhappy, and Annette, like a number of these, are on the front lines of that. So congratulations to Annette Ortega.
I also would like to make the quick note that while all of our employees are able to nominate someone, so everyone is nominated by their fellow employees, the decision actually is made by all of the Fremont County elected officials. So it's not just the Board of Commissioners, it's all of our elected officials who actually vote and name that single employee of the year.
And we welcome Annette's fellow supervisors from the Department of Transportation for being here today. And I think they joined with this board in congratulating her and recognizing her for the work that she does on the front lines for that department. So thank you guys for being here. Okay, next, under new business, we have Matthew Von Hoeb here, who contacted us several months ago to entertain a proclamation declaring the 15th day of December as Bill of Rights Day. And so we put him on our December 13th agenda. So Matthew, Commissioner Payne was concerned that we had a patriot running around the building this morning. I says, well, absolutely. I says, absolutely. He's part of our agenda. So Matthew, if you would like to do the honors and handle any introductions.
Thank you, Commissioners. With me today is David Mann, who is a past chapter president, past state president, and past, what are you? You've done so much. Vice President General of the National Society for the Rocky Mountain Region. And he does love to further the education. We've noticed a trend nationwide that American history is now being taught beginning with the Civil War rather than its foundational Revolutionary War, and we have a number of projects for that. But most importantly, besides the Constitution, is the Bill of Rights. With me also today are representatives of our sister organization. Which Marion? That's the Marion, the General Marion chapter. Ladies, would you introduce yourselves?
I'm Dawn Hayward. I'm a member of the General Marion chapter. I'm Desiree Chrysler. I'm the regent for the General Marion chapter. I'm Suzanne Martin.
We're grateful you could join us today.
And This is the chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Okay, very good.
They're the driving force behind most of this. We just follow along.
Did you have a copy of the proclamation?
No, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Would you, is it legible for you to read, or would you like to read?
I can still read that far.
Or would you can use my Surface if you'd like.
I can do this.
Okay,
I'll try.
go ahead.
A proclamation issued, hopefully, by the County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado, declaring the 15th day of December 2016 as Bill of Rights Day. Whereas December 15th, 2016 is the 225th anniversary of our Bill of Rights, the first amendments to the United States Constitution. Whereas the Bill of Rights Day will commemorate the adoption and approval by the 11th state, Virginia, on December 15th, 1791, of the Bill of Rights, having been adopted and approved by the requisite 3/4, there being 14 states in the Union at the time. Whereas the National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, which was organized on April 30th, 1889, has goals of to commemorate and provide memorials for people and events of the American Revolution, to preserve records relating to the events leading up to and during the American Revolution and the framing of our current form of government, to support research and presentation related to the history and people of the period 1750 through 1800, and to inform the community about events and the philosophical basis of the American Revolution and the Constitution. Whereas the Bill of Rights is a list of the limits on government power, which the founders saw as a natural right of individuals, and defines citizens' rights in relation to the newly established government under the Constitution. Whereas the roots of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, lie deep in Anglo-American history, beginning with the Magna Carta in 1215, and the English Bill of Rights on 1689. Whereas the first Congress of the United States in 1789 requested James Madison of Virginia to draft the proposal which would become the Bill of Rights. Whereas the Pikes Peak chapter of the Colorado Society of the National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, in conjunction with General Marion DAR chapter, served to promote the patriot ideals of our county, the cherished ideals of the Bill of Rights, an independent Supreme Court, a nation of free men, and has requested a proclamation from the County Commissioners of Fremont County, be it resolved.
On
You'll
this
have to
date,
finish that for me or scroll up.
Sorry.
Maybe that's your part.
that's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's our signatures.
Awesome.
Now therefore.
Yes, if I may.
Oh, now therefore.
Yes. I would simply like to finish this because I'm very honored to be able to say I also am a daughter of the American Revolution. I belong as well with the General Marion chapter. So I'm very honored that you're all here today and that I can have this big of a part in doing this. So finishing this out, now therefore the Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado, call upon all citizens of Fremont County and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the 15th of December 2016 as Bill of Rights Day, dated this 13th day of December 2016. So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve designating December 15th as National Bill of Rights Day in Fremont County.
And with that, I would proudly second that.
All right, I have a motion and a second to adopt the proclamation of December 15th being declared Bill of Rights Day in Fremont County. And most people, if I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity as the chair, because I never get a chance to do this publicly, because usually when I'm out riding my bike, people see me talking to myself. But sometimes I'm recalling certain words of patriots, and for some reason I picked the words of one Patrick Henry to record in my memory that there is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations and who will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Besides, sir, we have no elections. If we were base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. Our chains are forged. Their clanging may be heard on the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is in vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. I appreciate the opportunity.
That was impressive.
Now you know why I talk to myself.
Roll call. Yeah, roll call.
Roll call on the proclamation.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Matthew, thanks you for being here, and when I say a patriot, I meant not a New England patriot, right? All right.
Commissioners, thank you very much.
And ladies,
Thank you.
thanks for joining us as well.
Thank you very much.
Next item of new business is a proclamation declaring 2017 as a year of celebration for the United Presbyterian Church in the 150th year of ministry. Pat Vance. Is Pat here? Okay. Okay, if you would come to the podium, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Commissioners,
We are doing great.
Well.
and everybody? We are proud to be here, and I didn't know that we had to stand up and say anything. But anyway, we are proud to be here. We are also very proud that our church is 150 years old, and is the congregation that's 150 years old. We melded 3 churches into our one church. The year that they did that was 1966. So the 3 Presbyterian churches melded into United Presbyterian Church in 1966.
And you are a neighbor as well.
Yes, sir.
Because we've always enjoyed over the years watching the red-tailed hawks call the steeple in the United Presbyterian Church a home.
That's right. That's right.
So, Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the proclamation.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the proclamation declaring 2017 the year of celebration for the United Presbyterian Church in its 150th year of ministry.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we want to read the proclamation?
Sure.
Would you do the honor?
Oh, of course. Whereas the United Presbyterian Church of Canyon City, Fremont County, Colorado, will celebrate its 150th anniversary throughout the year of our Lord, 2017. And whereas the United Presbyterian Church of Canyon City had its beginning in January 1867 with the establishment of Cumberland Presbyterian Church on the northwest corner of 5th and Macon Avenue. And whereas the United Presbyterian Church of Canyon City is located at its current location, 7th and Macon Avenue, and is the culmination of 3 mergers, First Presbyterian Church, Cumberland Presbyterian Church, and Mountain View Presbyterian Church in 1966. It remains an active and vital presence in the city of Canyon City, Colorado. And whereas the United Presbyterian Church of Canyon City has been glorifying God by welcoming, worshiping, and witnessing in the name of his Son, Jesus. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims the year of our Lord 2017 as the year of celebration for the United Presbyterian Church of Canyon City, Fremont County, Colorado, in its 150th year of ministry. And be it further resolved that a copy of this proclamation shall be sent to the United Presbyterian Church.
All right, and a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ladies, thank you for joining us today.
Thank
And
you very much.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next item of new business is to ratify the chairman's signature on change orders 19 and 20 for the Fremont County Justice Center kitchen and laundry remodel. The chairman, I think, signed these, what, early last week?
On the 28th. Yes.
28th of
Okay.
November.
Do you want to offer any explanation publicly as to what I signed?
So the first one is actually changing a double gate from tie metal to standard chain link, and it was actually a decrease of $5,745 to the contract. The second one is there was some additional work done for the flooring and the washer pads, and that amount is $2,826.
We've had several of these change orders where there's been a decrease in the amount, and that's been very welcoming. Usually change orders are a significant addition.
Decreases are highly unusual.
Yes.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve or to ratify the chairman's signatures on change orders 19 and 20 for the Justice Center kitchen and laundry remodel.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to ratify the chairman's signatures on the two change orders at the jail kitchen and laundry remodel. Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item of new business is consideration to reappoint Mark Mazer to the Fremont County Planning Commission for another 3-year term ending January 1st of 2020. And we had a letter from Mark Mazer indicating his interest for that reappointment.
And Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to reappoint Mark Mazer to the Fremont County Planning Commission for an additional 3-year term ending January 1st, 2020. I just want to add that Mark has been heavily involved lately in the last 3 years in all kinds of aspects within Fremont County, and he'd be his reappointment, he's just a great asset to the county zoning.
I agree with that. I will second the motion.
All right, motion and a second to reappoint Mark Mazer for another 3-year term to the Fremont County Planning Commission. Other discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Also, next under new business is a consideration to reappoint Dennis Weed as the Canyon City Municipal Representative to the County Planning Commission through the end of December 2018, as recommended by Mayor Troutman in a letter to the Board of County Commissioners. We have that recommendation.
We do have that letter in front of us, Mr. Chair. I also believe that Mr. Weed has been a great addition to the Planning Commission here in Fremont County. I move to reappoint him with a term ending December 31st of 2018.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to reappoint Dennis Weed to the Fremont County Planning Commission representing the city of Canyon City. Other discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item of new business is consideration of adoption of the Fremont County Evacuation and Reentry Plan. Oh, there's Steve. I saw him come in to the left. And
Where did he go?
He moved to the far right. All right. Steve Morrissey is our Emergency Management Director. Steve, would you give us an overview of what we're considering here?
Good morning.
Good morning.
The evacuation and reentry plan is really just that. We've had enough events and emergencies in our county where it was looked at as a good thing to have these things put down. So any of our procedures, policies were all in one location for evacuation purposes. We've had to use this probably on a yearly basis. We used it for the Hayden Pass fire this year. The evacuation part went fairly well. no real issues. The reentry portion of it is when we allow people to go back into their area after the fire or sometimes during the latter stages of the fire. And we not only did that work, we actually use that, pass that plan on to Pueblo for the Mueller fire and back up to the Junkins fire up in Custer County. They use versions of this plan. So it's got been pretty well tested and seems to work well. I've had the plan up on the website and out to different agencies for review, input. So we've all had, all the response agencies have had a chance to provide input to this. So that's kind of what we ended up with, this plan. As of this year, we did it for real, and it seems to have worked fairly well. I'm sure we'll run into minor changes as we progress along this and new things come up.
So how do the area law enforcement agencies and other emergency responders become familiar with the facets of the plan?
They'll have access to it. They have had access to it on the website in various stages of draft from over a year now. It's been up on the website. Some of these items have actually been developed by the Fremont County Sheriff's Office from their wildland fire team. From Sergeant Trace Hall developed some of the flagging procedures that we're using. So they had input into the plan from the very beginning.
Okay.
I know this really came to light during the Royal Gorge fire. Steve and I sat in a meeting at the fire district and how we were going to evacuate Dawson Ranch with the roundabout at 9th and Elm being under construction at the time. And within about 45 minutes, we had a plan put together on what everybody was going to do. And it was quite impressive, actually, to see everybody come together, all the different agencies, on how we were going to do that. Fortunately, we didn't have to, but it was getting close.
It was very close. Luckily, the wind cooperated and reversed on us and pushed the fire back in on itself that same day. So.
And with that, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adopt the Fremont County Evacuation and Reentry Plan.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to adopt the Fremont County Evacuation and Reentry Plan. And where can it be reviewed if someone wants to look at it, Steve?
It's on the county website under the emergency management drop-down. It should be up on there with the latest version.
All right. Other discussion?
Just a quick point. Although this is a brand new plan, many parts of it are actual protocols and procedures that have been followed in the past, correct?
That is correct. Some
Okay.
of the flagging procedures that were developed 4 or 5 years ago, we've modified to make them fit. Like I said, trial and error. We've gone out there and actually used these, and we've modified what worked and what didn't, and that's been consolidated into one plan.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Steve. Just a,
He's up for the next item as well.
Another
okay. Just a footnote, anyone is on previous agenda items, you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but if your item has been dealt with by the board, you don't feel compelled to stick around. All right, Steve, item number 8 is consideration of to adopt the Fremont County Debris Management Plan.
Okay. The debris management plan is basically, if we have a very, very large flooding, tornado, earthquake that generates huge amounts of debris that will overload our typical landfills, it's the plan on how to take care of those items, the procedures that we follow, also in accordance with the FEMA procedures, so we stay in line with what is recognized by FEMA, which helps during our the policies, the reimbursement side of things, and the support from them later on. It's basically a way of getting rid of all the stuff that's left over after a major event, where we would store it, how we would divide it up, how we would follow along on that. And having this plan in place also allows us for I believe it's a 2% increase in a reimbursement, which may not sound like a lot, but if we have a couple $1 million incident, it will add up. So it allows us a little bit extra reimbursement to have this plan in place. It's a one-time event, but it also helps give us all an idea of what we have to do when we do run into that, if we ever do.
And how much of this plan was employed for the Hayden Pass fire?
Actually, very little. We didn't run into anything to the point where it would overload any of our landfills. There was actually very little debris generated. It was mostly burnt, and it was all on federal land for the most part. We only had a very small percentage that was on private. So one other thing, the state has looked at this plan. They've approved it, and FEMA has actually approved this plan also in the last month.
Have we ever had a major event here in Fremont County that this would have applied to? Because I can't really remember one.
No, we haven't. We've generated a lot of debris from flooding and a little bit from fires, but flooding is our main thing, but generally that's just woody debris.
Mhm.
It tends to end up along the riverbanks where it naturally decays. It hasn't really affected the cities or the towns. This plan is more for if we have an event that would generate building debris, household debris. We saw a little bit at the Hayden Pass flooding. We had refrigerators and things that were floating downstream, but it was a very small amount. If a large flood event did hit the cities, then we could implement this plan.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
All right, any other questions for Steve on the debris management plan?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the Fremont County Debris Management Plan as presented.
Second.
Motion is second to adopt the Fremont County Debris Management Plan as presented. Discussion? Steve, just a note of thanks for your efforts on putting all these documents together. I know that we've had different communications, particularly from El Paso County in recent months in the aftermath of both the Hayden Pass fire and the Junctions fire, and sharing what experiences that they've had. And I think there's another event coming up that we just got notice of, the Waldo Canyon fire, right?
That's correct. Some of the items and the procedures that they, things that they put in place to counter the flooding off the Waldo Canyon fire, we're going to be doing a tour of that area on Friday to look at what type of those items could be implemented down in the Hayden Pass area, and possibly even to the Junkins fire and the Beulah fire area. So we'll have a better idea of what's working, what hasn't worked, how they've done it, what they actually look like when you're trying to explain something to somebody, and basically how they work in the geography of those particular areas.
All right. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thanks again, Steve. Item number 9, consideration to formally close the Fremont County Administration Building this Thursday, December 15th at 3 p.m. for the annual Employees Christmas Party.
This will extend to the Garden Park building as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Make a motion that we approve that closure for the administration building, December 15th, 2016 at 3 o'clock.
Second.
Motion and second to authorize closure of the County Administration Building at 3 p.m. this Thursday for the Administration Christmas Party. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 10, to consider a consulting agreement with Forest Stewardship Concepts for a Community Wildfire Protection Plan.
Do we have Steve on this one too?
Steve? I didn't know if Steve or Commissioner Payne.
Actually, Commissioner Bell was in on this one. I've been on all the other ones.
A little bit.
Okay, the wildfire protection plan is basically, it's a neighborhood plan that we use a contractor for. The funding for these plans come from our Secure Rural Schools program. They are very limited in scope as to how we could use these funds, and one of the main things is developing these community wildfire plans. And what these do is they go in, we have a contractor come in, he looks at the homes, he triages them for a fire event. Then he does recommendations based on fuel, geography, just the general type of area as to some projects that the homeowners can do to alleviate or to mitigate for any possible future fires. It also opens the door for grants through the National Resource Conservation Service, BLM, the Forest Service, to provide funding to do some of these projects, but we have to have these plans in place. This particular plan is just a very small area, but it's in on top of a hill, quite a lot of vegetation, one road in, one road out. So this plan will do some recommendations on how to improve their survivability during a wildfire in that area.
These plans
Okay.
have worked in the past. Jim Webb does a great job. He's done several for us, and you have to have these plans in place before you finally get boots on the ground, which we did, for instance, up at Dawson Ranch with their Southwest Protection Plan. And with that, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consulting agreement with Forest Stewardship Concepts.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the consulting agreement with Forest Stewardship Concepts for this Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Item number 11 is request for approval of the first amended and restated intergovernmental agreement for the Regional Emergency Communications Authority for Fremont County. I'll ask the county attorney to read the amended language that we are considering today.
All right, the only amendment to the agreement that has been approved twice now by the Board of Commissioners is Section 9.26. At the time that the DOLA grant was obtained to construct and staff the Dispatch Center, Regional Communications Center, at the very last minute, the county contributed an additional $100,000 from some certificate of participation money as matching funds to get additional DOLA money on the grant. Well, that reimbursement formula has never been agreed upon by the other entities to the Communications Authority. So the amended 9.26 states that the members acknowledge that Fremont County contributed $100,000 as matching funds for the DOLA grant. The cities of Canyon City, Florence, Canyon City Area Fire Protection District, and Fremont County are currently in negotiations to determine the amount and method of payment of any reimbursement to Fremont County of the $100,000. And I would note that the CRCA board, the fire district, the 911 authority, Fremont County, and the city of Florence have all approved the first amended and restated intergovernmental agreement on more than one occasion, and we are waiting on the city of Canyon City to get acceptable language to approve the amended agreement. And I am told by their new city attorney that this is probably going to be acceptable. We'll know on December 19th, but all the other entities are approving this new language.
All right, and I don't have to remind my fellow commissioners that it was on the eve of Sheriff Biker, Chief Delvecchio, and I traveling to Durango for that grant hearing that the county put up that additional $100,000 in order to secure an additional $100,000 in grant dollars from Department of Local Affairs, which was a benefit to all of the signatory participants on this intergovernmental agreement. And I think we made it clear at the beginning that because we took those funds from our certificates of participation, which was created to initially purchase and renovate the Garden Park building, that we expected those dollars at some point to be repaid. So there's no doubt that this board has that presence of mind that will continue to pursue that long after I'm gone. And it's also worth a footnote that not represented in these dollars being sought for recovery is the gracious contribution of Sheriff Biker of $85,000 to initiate the design architectural work for the 4th floor of the Judicial Center to expedite the construction of this joint dispatch center. And I personally want to commend the leadership that all agents of Fremont County have shown in getting that facility created.
I also hope that this amendment will finally put this entire issue to bed and we can get it signed and approved and move on. So, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the first amended and restated IGA for the Regional Emergency Communications Authority.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the amended language again for 9.26 of the intergovernmental agreement for the Combined Communications Center. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 12, request approval of a county deed conveying to the city of Canyon City the county's right-of-way easement interest in and across a parcel of land located in the general area of the Valco Ponds. In fact, a small triangular piece of property on the south side of the Arkansas River next to the Mackenzie Avenue Bridge. The county attorney.
The county was approached by some potential purchasers of that whole general area of where the Valco ponds are. The county inherited a right-of-way easement from the now dissolved Fremont County Flood Control Conservancy District. It was dissolved in court process in 2001, 2002, and all of the rights-of-way easement that were held by the flood district were conveyed to the county to maintain those flood structures and to use the property for the purposes intended. This particular parcel is not part of any flood control structure or any flood control structure system. And so the private parties who were interested in purchasing that property requested that the county convey it to them. Rather, the county commissioners have decided it would be better to convey it to the city of Canyon City, another governmental entity that could carry on the flood control purposes for that parcel. It's my understanding that the city of Canyon City wants to use that parcel as a rafting takeout and a park kind of recreationally, which would be consistent with the purpose for the easement. So this deed would convey that right-of-way to the city of Canyon City, and so that the purchase of that can proceed and the city can use that parcel for recreational purposes.
As has already been the case, being used as a rafting takeout area.
Just not for the public. It's been kind
That's
of
right, it's been for
private.
private
So
use.
this is really a win-win situation, and I would make a motion that we approve this county deed conveying to the city of Canyon City.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the county deed conveying that parcel of property to the city of Canyon City. Other discussion?
Just a note that the city of Canyon City will consider acceptance of the property on their December 19th agenda.
Okay. So the county's, with passage, approval, county's responsibility for this will have been conveyed. Roll call?
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item of new business is CUP-04-003 to entrust a new direction IRA. It's a request to approve a 3-year extension of temporary cessation. This is a property located on the north side of Highway 50 across from the county airport, property that had been used for a gravel quarry and crushing operation. We'll ask Matt Koch to offer explanation.
All right. They haven't operated this gravel pit for several years. They are requesting this 3-year extension so they can begin remining it in the future. They are in negotiations with some other subs to come in and start removing gravel, so it may happen sooner than later. There are no issues with this site, and the extension would be a positive.
Okay.
All right, I have no questions or issues with this particular item, Mr. Chair. I move to approve a 3-year extension of temporary cessation for Entrust New Direction.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the 3-year extension of temporary cessation for New Direction, Entrust New Direction IRA. Other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I guess I didn't ask if Marvin Boyd was here.
He actually called this morning, said he wouldn't be here.
Okay. I guess that showed I was pretty smart there, not knowing. All right, item 14, Union Pacific Railroad subdivision exemption request approval by the UP for their property located north of Highway 50 at Texas Creek. This is right along the river, the old railroad tracks there at Texas Creek. Sidney Sheeran. Is Sidney Sheeran representing the Union Pacific Railroad? He's traveled all the way from Omaha? Dang, I wanted somebody from Omaha. All right, sir, you want to explain what's going on here?
Flatlanders.
City of Sharon with Landmark Surveying. This parcel has been used for river access by Colorado Parks and Wildlife, managed by AHRA, and there was some confusion. They were under the impression it was actually BLM property initially, and came to their attention it's railroad property, and so they've been in negotiations with UP to get title to this. I don't know if there are any plans to for any improvements at the time, but it is to basically correct the mistaken ownership that AHRA has been managing there.
Which will allow the chain to come down so that river access is restored to people who had used it for years, thinking it belonged to the BLM or the state of Colorado.
Right, yeah, I think they've just, they're hesitant to do too many improvements there because it is a wash that floods occasionally, so they would like to continue to use that, but I don't know if there's any improvements planned besides perhaps
Right.
removal of the chain.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a big improvement for a lot of people.
All right. Any comments from Matt?
No, the department reviewed this, found everything in compliance. They did request a fee waiver for the application fee of $150. And we did require them to put a note on the plat that this would not be used for residential or commercial structures, and it would be just used for the recreational purposes. The board does have the right to grant this subdivision variance. So,
Okay. The Union Pacific is requesting a $150 waiver of the fee?
yes.
Well, it's
With-
Colorado Parks and Wildlife
There you go.
is responsible for
Oh,
all the
okay.
costs associated with creating this.
In other words, the UP says if you want it, you pay for it. Sounds familiar. Okay.
That actually makes a lot more sense to us, though.
Should clarify that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so commissioners, you have that framed for you well now. What's your choices?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the subdivision exemption, SV 16-001. Do we also need to put the $150 waiver in the
Yes.
motion? Yes, I will do that, $150 waiver for the fee in my motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, motion and a second to approve the subdivision exemption along the river at Texas Creek as described. Is there any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Sharon, for
Thank
coming
you.
down,
Thank you.
enjoying a few hours in Fremont County.
A little windshield time.
All right. Just one other, I meant to mention this in the staff elected officials reports. I have copies of this letter for the media, but yesterday, the Board of County Commissioners signed a letter of support. We expedited this so that it could reach Jim Aragon, the area wildlife manager in Salida, who wanted to carry this letter of support to a meeting of the Colorado Wildlife Commission in Denver tomorrow. And basically, this letter is in support, if you may have already read or heard some of the media coverage, that the Wildlife Commission is considering an Upper Arkansas River Predator Management Plan in units D16 and D34, the thrust of which would focus on why there's a steady decrease in mule deer population, and the strategy includes increasing the number of permits for the taking of mountain lions in these units. And the letter that we wrote to the Wildlife Commission basically supports the predator study, which will take a number of years to draw conclusions. But basically, the Colorado Parks and Wildlife said that the impact of cougar hunting on cougar populations, especially high levels designed to suppress populations, can be varied and is not well understood. And thus, we indicated that the study could provide some excellent research data to draw some of these conclusions. So, Sheriff, you can go out some more mountain lion permits if you're so inclined. So I have a copy of the letter if you, the media would like it. There being no further business to come before this board, we stand adjourned. Yes, sir.
Can I get a picture of us with DAR and that?
Absolutely.
You bet.